Good evening, guys. My name is Vic, and for those who didn't know what meeting they joined, this is the meeting about worked all OARC secret kit. It feels like work, right? We joined the meeting and we don't know what's about. So this was about the secret kit, and I think the cat is out the bag now because the first slide in the presentation says what it is. Can you see the presentation, guys? By the way.
Yes, it's all
Yeah.
visible.
Yeah, no problem.
Good. So I maybe start a little bit with what the worked all OARC is. So because people are not aware maybe what it is. So this is the fourth edition of this activity. This activity runs from June until end of August every year. And we ran it as a little bit of a non-contest, non-contest, and then that activity morphed a little bit into different activities. So last year we made a theme for this activity to be networking, and we ran a lot of nets. And this year there are two main themes for this activity. One of them is the shortwave listeners and engagement with the shortwave listeners community. And the second one is building stuff, building radios, putting stuff kit on the air. And as a part of this second activity, this is what we came up with in terms of the kit. And we kept it secret. And the reason is that we didn't know at the beginning what we are going to do. We knew that we are going to do maybe a beacon for a foxhound, or we're going to do some sort of a receiver, or maybe SSB transmitter, or maybe CW. We actually didn't know what we are going to do. But then Owen very kindly went off, did a bit of internet searching, and found this kit that we're gonna show to you now. There you go. I'm just gonna go to the next slide. Can I go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay. So I think I can give it to Owen at this stage. I ran out of the expertise in this presentation after the title slide. Owen.
So Vic gave me a couple of key things that needed to happen. It needed to be cheap. We needed to be able to make contacts or be able to, for people that maybe don't have the best ideal RF radio conditions, to be able to make contacts. And also some of the intercontinental type stuff, that was going to be hard with building a kit. You may get out 5 watts, you may not, type of kits. So we thought Whisper was the way to go. Most people here probably would have already heard about Whisper, so I won't go into the background of that. But we needed a kit that could transmit low power, be able to just stick a wire on the end of it somewhere. Use your big antenna if you want to use your big antenna, but this kit is designed completely to just stick a wire in the end type thing and throw it out the window. And it will work that way. We went for something that will go on a Pi because we liked that idea, and Vic kept pushing that. It wasn't really something I was looking into at the time. I was looking at building a 5-watt SSB transmitter or something like that. But I think Vic led me, and so we found this already kit available, and we've kind of butchered it a bit, and we've used a lot of the parts that were on a lot of the ideas and that, and through Vic's pushing, we've now got a great little kit to show you in a minute that I don't think I would have got to by myself. So you can thank Vic for the actual final product. Yes, please, Vic, let's move on. So what do we need? It's ideally fitted to a Raspberry Pi 02. The original was never written for that, but we've got it working for that. But you can also run it on a Pi 2, 3, or 4. It will not work on a 5, but it's Linux based. I'm sure there's some experts in the background of OARC that could make that work on anything, and hopefully someone will take it on a bit further and maybe develop it a bit. That would be really nice, and there's a project there if anybody wants it to go in with the Works All OARC. Vic and Tom have come up with a great a great little PCB. I would have never got there. I'd have still been. I don't know if you've got a picture of my variable and my dead ant sort of stuff, but I made it. I made it originally, and we've been running it, and it works really good. You need a kit of parts. There will be some assembly required. We can make them if you can't. If there's a problem with that, I'm sure we can get something made if you can't make. And then we also use a QAB Labs filter, which will become a bit clearer in a minute, I think. So you see the finished board down the bottom, nice and simple, plugs on top of your Pi Zero, and that's it. That's really all you need. It is amazing. The only thing that isn't on there is the SMA connector. But anyway, let's move on a bit. Costings, kind of Vic. Do you want to run through that one?
Yeah, sure. So, what did what did we want to do? We wanted to have a kit that will be really, really cheap and that people can just buy without, breaking the bank. The PCBs worked out about. I'm not gonna use any currency. I'm just gonna say monies because it depends which country you're in. I'm just gonna say. So the PCBs worked out about two monies, and then the kit itself, it's about 6 monies, and then the low pass filter is about 4 monies. It depends which country you're in. So the whole thing comes to about kind of a 15 units of currency in any given country. This includes and we are supplying the OARC members with the complete kit. So we purchased a bulk of low pass filters for 40 meters. We have the PCBs on the way to Owen soon, or they are in the post at the moment. These PCBs were already tested. This is just PCBs changing hands really only. And then the kit itself is on the way to Owen from Mauser as well. This is for the guys in the Northern Ireland, Northern Ireland, and for the Northern Ireland maybe as well, but for the Southern Ireland and for Eco India land, I have ordered boards as well directly to my place, and I will just gauge the interest, and then we will order the rest of it, the low pass filters and the kit parts. There's going to be a form that the form is in the presentation, so you just fill up the form with your name, address, and the interest that you want, and then there is a wiki work all OARC 2025 _ kit, and there are instructions, PCB build instructions, and stuff like that. So that website, we prepared it, but if someone wants to take it and run through the documentation and test the documentation and improve on that documentation, please do. And at the end of August, when we send these boards out to you, we're gonna organize a little event with these boards. So one day, or maybe for a few days, we're gonna ask all of you that have built the boards to just put them on air. And we're gonna just give Whisper community a curious conundrum to solve. How is it that suddenly there's 15 or 20 or 100 more feeders, to the Whisper that there were before? So maybe someone will come asking why that is. The important thing about this kit is that it's modular. So the Whisper board sits on top of the Raspberry Pi, and on top of that sits the low pass filter. The low pass filter can be for any band that you like, from, I don't know, any HF band anyway. So if you want to have 2 or 3 of these boards, that's okay, but we are gonna only supply the 40 meter low pass filter. But if you want to buy these low pass filters, they are available from the QRP Labs for 4 units of currency. So let's see. Any questions on that, guys? No?
Just on the back of the QRP Labs. Oh, Andy, maybe. No.
No. Okay, I move on then. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So the next thing for you to do is to look up that wiki page and fill up the form and tell
There's
us what.
no build instructions yet because that will literally be done next week.
Yeah. Then
So, want me to carry this
Owen.
one? So we thought we'd better do some. Okay, so the Raspberry Pi obviously modulates the clock and the oscillator within internally. Takes time from the NTP servers. Now the problem with that is, of course, you've got a square wave coming out, so we need the filter, the low pass filter, to smooth that out. That seems to work. Did a bit of testing on that. You get about 43 dB down on the next one up, and significantly more down on the next harmonic. So I thought that was good. We're getting out about 200 milliwatts, 400 milliwatts. So that band pass filter is working, low pass filter is working really well. Of course, you're only getting 10 milliwatts out of the Pi. So you'll see on the board, there's just a small amplifier, the same amplifier that Hans uses for all his QRP labs. There's nothing complicated on there. And of course, there's a push button to shut down, but we'll move on to that probably in a minute. Yes, Vic, I think we're done. So you can see some of my testing, nice clean signal. That was just close coupled. Really happy with that. We also looked at the harmonics up at the bands. That worked really well. I think I've told you enough about the prototype, how it works. Prototyping was done by Tom. Tom is not in tonight, but he'd done all of the work, made the PCB, and it was brilliant. The distortion looks pretty good. You can see up the top, nice signal.
The for the prototyping bit, maybe Owen,
Yep.
we asked the community who could come forward to design the PCB, and Tom volunteered to design the PCB because that PCB didn't exist, or it existed in a different form, and we wanted that PCB to be form factor that it comes together with the Raspberry Pi Zero. So Tom did entire design. We went through 2 iterations of it. There is version 1 that needs a little rework, which we still probably distribute because at the moment we have 50 boards, and the version 1 has a tiny design issue, but it can be overcome by just bridging some paths, and this is all good. But what you'll be getting in the first instance is the version 1.1, and that's the board with all the fixes and changes and stuff like that. Then as for oh, there's Tom. How handy.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
Very good. Do you want to tell us about your experience with me trying to recruit you to do this job?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of, does anyone want to do this thing? That was a thing I appeared to be working on at the time. So yeah, wasn't too bad.
I was just saying that our version 1 was kind of a bit. There were tiny errors there that we need to iron out, and that board is okay to distribute as well if people want, just to make the little mods to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, without the modifications, it will technically work, but it will use the outer ground of your antenna rather than the main antenna.
Yeah. Okay.
It will use the shield as your antenna.
Yeah. So, and then Tom, maybe a little word about the tuning of this device. Changing there's a little pot on this device that you have to adjust to get the signal out. So how do we do this? What's the easiest way for people, say, that don't have an oscilloscope at home, to make sure they are not distorted?
Yeah. The easiest way is there is a test point. In fact, I've got a V1 1.1 board here. No, this is an original. There's a test point here, which is basically the last test point before the antenna. Is that the right way around? Yeah, something along those lines. There's a bunch of test points on the board. I'll have to look at the schematic. But you can measure the output voltage across the test point and ground. I haven't got an accurate number yet because I haven't actually measured mine. But it is pretty straightforward with a multimeter. Or realistically, you can probably just shove the pot in the middle and it's probably good.
For sure, Tom. I mean, it all depends on that resistance.
Yeah.
So if that resistor is kind of key to the, but it's all relative. If you use that the way you did it with your SDR,
yeah,
you can go, you see your signal increase, and then you can keep turning, but it won't go anymore. It'll just get more horrible.
yeah.
Okay, so you just increase it to the point that you don't overdrive your amplifier,
yeah,
and then turn back a little bit.
I mean, we're only talking 200 milliwatts, 300 milliwatts anyway. So
yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. And the yeah, I actually ran out of components on the 1.1 build, so it's actually got a more resistant resistor in it than it should do, so I can't actually currently get a
reading.
Get a rough value, but it's yeah.
Can you actually show us the board, because this is the first time this board is being televised?
Yeah. Well, did we say we were starting at? I thought it was 7:30 when we were starting. Am I late?
You're already halfway there. You're good. Just show us the board.
I'm super late. My bad. Yeah, so this is the original board. This is the 1.0 board. If you give me a sec, I can dig out the 1.1. In fact, hang on, I'll do that because that's got the right components on it.
The 1.1 is actually running now, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, the reason I haven't got a 1.1 to hand is it's down here plugged in, because there's only the one of them so far. So yeah, this is fully assembled. So the bottom is a Raspberry Pi Zero. It will fit on well, mechanically it will fit on any of them. Electrically and software wise, it works up to a Pi 4. It won't run on a Pi 5. And the software needs the 32-bit OS rather than 64-bit. So yeah, bottom is a Pi 0 currently on this one. Then the middle board on the sandwich is the actual Whisper board, and then the top is one of the QRP Labs filters. This one's a 40 meter. Yeah, designed. One of the differences for the 1.1 board is it's all through-hole components, other than the inductors you have to wind, but it's all through-hole, so it's relatively straightforward to build. It's slightly smaller resistors than common, just because otherwise it physically wouldn't fit on the board. But yeah. That's
also, if you just take off the filter, so well, I was telling you guys that these filters can be exchanged for other bands, so we made it in such a way that the whole thing is modular, and you can just take it, pops out, and just put another band if you want, and run it on another band.
I've taken it to 10 meters. It seemed quite smooth. 6 meters, it didn't seem to want to work properly, but I think it was just me. I was making really weird low pass filters, so I think there was a bit of capacitance starting to play around, but I'm sure it's doable.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Tom. I'm just gonna go back, and then I will just go back to the presentation. Thanks for that. Thanks for showing up anyway.
I apologize for being late. Sorry, I thought I was actually early. Oh well, that's the story of my life. I'll go plug it back in.
Yeah, go plug it back in. I'm just gonna reshare this. You see the presentation, guys, right? So this is what's gonna happen. So when you connect your board to some sort of a wire, and you go on the Whisper map, this is how that Whisper map is gonna look after some time. And it's amazing that, you know, we know how Whisper works. For those who don't know how Whisper works, it's a very low, very weak signal mode where very weak signals can be decoded reliably on at the great distances. It's a nice experiment to run, nice to see what happens over 24 hours with the propagation. Where do you get, where did you get, you know, and you're running 200 milliwatts of power basically.
So the picture in the middle is actually Tom live, or was 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. So that was that board that was running. And am I right in thinking that this is the end of the presentation?
Yes, Victor.
Okay, so then I stop the share and we open the floor for people to tell us what they think. Is it what you expected? Is it did you expect something else? What are your thoughts on this, guys?
Interesting, Vic. How you doing? I made it late. Do you plan on those that set up reporting back to Whisper as well in order to receive and transmit, or is it only transmit? Will the Pi handle that? Presumably it will.
So I probably wasn't clear enough. So the software in it, as soon as you power up, turns on. There's some instructions in the kit, in the how to find your once it's plugged into a network or wireless or wherever you can plug it in, how to find the IP address. You put your IP address into your Chrome or whatever you're using, and then you can set out all of your call sign, all the parts that you would normally have to fill in for Whisper, and then it's reporting every 20 minutes back, I think. So there's a possibility there for the software to do more. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Because I have used Whisper a little bit, you know, on and off. My only issue with it is I have one antenna, so when you're running Whisper, you know, but it might be worth. Would you recommend
sure.
people maybe put up maybe a separate antenna, maybe something simple?
So I think you came in a little bit late.
Sorry, I was late. Apologies if I'm asking questions.
No problem.
Covered, yeah.
No problem. It's really designed for someone just to throw a wire out the window.
Okay.
All right. It won't. It's so little watts that it doesn't matter if it's slightly mismatched or anything. Just throw a wire out the window over a tree, or over a branch, over a shrub, if that's all you've got, and it should still work. I don't know about some of the higher bands, but certainly for 40 it does.
Yeah, you might get a bit of NVIS. You might get a different. It might be worth experimenting with your main and another antenna. You get some NVIS and local contacts with one, and
but that also sounds like fun, Parag. That's something we haven't looked at, so we should try.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vic.
Sorry, chomping on my Milky Way.
So the board has an SMA connector on it as designed. If you're you can either just use that, or if you're just going to throw some wire on it, you can actually just skip the SMA and just solder a wire directly onto the middle pad of the connector, depending on what you've got available. I am not very good at soldering SMA connectors, so I like the screw-ons, so I tend to just do that, and it works.
And you could probably solder this in the middle of the dipole, right?
I mean, yeah, probably. Probably just coat the thing in epoxy and call it done. But yeah.
Actually, that just gives me an idea, right? So you solder the dipole to it on either end, right? And then you pot the whole thing. You literally pot the whole thing. The only thing is
I think your Pi would have a bad time with that.
Yeah, the Pi will have a bad time, and the exchanging of the SD card might be a bit hard, you know.
little miniature solar panel. We could have another hat on top with a. Oh yes, I like it.
We did. So guys, we did lose the run of ourselves at some stage because we were like, you know, there's so many options you can actually add. There's so many add-ons to this. That is unreal. Like you can have the little I2C maybe screen just telling you how many spots did you see, you know. You can have a screen that maybe will calculate the farthest distance or average distance or whatever. You could have like there's the expansion on this is just amazing. Like what you can expand. We're thinking about adding a tiny power meter to it, so you have a little screen that tells you the power that comes out. Like for someone that and it's not very like this project is easy to modify because it's running so little power that you don't have to be massive expert in electronics to actually add something, and whatever you do, it will probably work because there's such a so little power coming out of it. So yeah, we had to stop ourselves at some stage from adding the mods to the board because we have like 2 weeks. By the way, that board was designed, tested, um, delivered, ordered, built within 3 weeks. From the moment Tom saw the diagram, and it took us 3 weeks to have it up and running, and ready for distribution basically, which I think is an amazing amazing team effort from the guys. I'm just facilitating this here. I did nothing. Just
Well,
walking around.
we had to mute you sometimes because you were adding more and more. Or one
I
of the
just was walking around
it is
with the tiny
amazing.
whip,
The time is amazing. I used to work for quite a famous company called Plessig. It used to take them 10 years to get a PCB out the door. So
Yeah. So
okay,
well done to the guys. And if there are people that are professionally doing this kind of stuff on the call, and you get this board and you see something that we could change, improve, or whatever, please do let us know. Because why not have version 1.2 or 1.3, if that kind of is what you want to do.
I'll be throwing the KiCad schematics and files up on the OARC GitHub later. So the full schematics, the PCB layout, the lot will go, and the README for this, and how to mod a 1.0 into a 1.1 will go up either this evening or tomorrow.
And for those in Ireland, I ordered 25 boards, and I'm just gonna see how many people want the boards, and then we will order the low pass filters and stuff like that. Anything else, guys?
only thing is, if we could crack that software, that would be good. Because it's not. I don't think it's open source at the moment, Tom. Is it?
It is. I
It is.
found.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So the original image from the Whisper Without Tears used Whispery Pi, and there is a more modern fork of that, which is what mine is running. It seemed to me that the original one doesn't run anymore. I couldn't quite make it work. This is running the newer version of it. And
Okay, mine was on the original version, so
okay, so it does run. Yeah,
it does run. Maybe it's just on the 0. Would that be a
maybe.
reason?
Potentially, I don't know. The newer version definitely looks a lot nicer to deal with. I will stick some links to places. They don't provide a pre-built image, but it is literally image it, and then they give you an install script, and it just seemed to work.
Perfect. So we could write that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So what I will do is I'll just stop the recording, or Owen can stop the recording. I can stop the recording.